Hello, everybody, and welcome to episode 218 of the TheSixthAxis podcast. As per usual, I am your host, Kris Lipscomb. Joining me this week is the game-making, vegetable-eating, Italy-visiting son of a gun. That is Kev Adset. Say hello, Kev.
Buongiorno. Hi. Ciao tutti.
And also with us this week is the miniest Lipscomb I know, personally. It is my little brother and a guy who's rebranded himself recently. He was Carl is Awesome the last time he was on here. No longer is he awesome. He is now Carl Alt Del, because it's like a pun. Like, you see, like on Control Alt Delete, it's like a pun like that. And like,
yeah, I pronounce it Carl Alt Delete, which I feel makes it more confusing.
But like his thing on like his banner on like YouTube is a Control key and an Alt key and a Delete key, but in the Control key, it's just a picture of his face.
So did you get rid of the horrible racist brand that you had before?
No, that's the subtitle.
Oh, cool.
It's a strong brand. Sure. You don't want to abandon that.
No, I think it had a real cult following.
I did approve of the time that we once gave him a lower third on a video that said "not racist really," and then faded away, and then came back and said, "But he does properly hate women." Yeah, that was all. That was all Peter Chapman.
He's not bigoted in this direction.
We'd like to just make it clear what's going on. Right, so on this week's podcast, we've got a few things we're going to discuss. I'm going to be talking about Train Valley, a game that I love. I think I've probably talked about it before, but I've been playing the new German Trains DLC for it. Kev, I believe you're going to be talking about Telepaint, which is an iOS title.
That's correct.
Also, did you remember the film you were going to talk about?
No, I remembered what it was, and it was actually a different game, not a film. It was Chivalry, Medieval Warfare.
Did you want to talk about that?
How did you mix up a game and a film?
I just remembered that I'd been doing something and couldn't remember what it was.
Kev just treats everything Kev as well as visually. He treats us the same thing.
I consumed some media at some point.
It's all pretty much the same. It was moving pictures,
Chivalry,
wasn't it?
Medieval Warfare. I shall be talking about that a little bit later on as well.
And also, Carl was going to talk about, is it called Ed and Ben?
No! It's Ben and Ed.
I apologise, Ben and Ed.
Seems like an overreaction.
I feel I was very close.
Don't worry, because I get confused majorly, not by that, but by a completely different name called Run Dead. What? Because I'll explain when I talk about it, but everywhere within the game, once you're playing the game, it says Run Dead everywhere. So naturally, I think that's the game's name, but it's not. It's Ben and Ed.
That is confusing, to be fair.
It's like when a song has a chorus in it that says the same lyric over and over, and that turns out not to be the name of the song.
Yeah, that's a poor marketing decision, I feel. You've done badly there. Before that, of course, it's time to talk about the news. But recently, I've stopped doing that. I cut out the bit where I say it's time to talk about the news and just put the jingle in. Nice. So maybe I'll do that. Maybe I won't. Maybe I'll leave this bit in. Who knows?
Ooh, a little peek behind the curtain.
Well, no, obviously, because I'm the one editing it.
Yeah, but for the listeners,
it's not really.
If I don't leave this in, the listeners won't know. So really,
I feel like this is definitely getting cut out now.
It's just a surprise for you two guys, really.
Going on a bit long now.
No,
it's not going to be a surprise because I don't listen.
Yeah, that's true.
To the podcast, so
really,
it'll just remain.
Apparently, I don't because I didn't know Lewis left.
Oh yeah, no, he's gone.
Yeah. Though I listened to it the other week, and I just assumed he wasn't there. And I think I listened to it.
There was like a whole episode where we detailed in length him leaving.
Yeah, I must have just missed that one, and I think I've listened to because I listened to the one you were talking Batman versus Superman.
Yeah, he was on that.
Was he on that one?
Oh, I think he was on that one.
Was he on that one?
I don't.
Definitely at least one that was like
2
or 3 weeks ago that I listened to. That he was.
He's not anymore. Anyway,
on this week's podcast, we'll be talking about which podcasts Carl's listened to.
It's a weird podcast. It's a new format we're trying.
Very meta.
Just Carl comes on
each week we get a different guest and we list which episodes they've listened to and what their favourites were.
I listened to the April 4th one and the March 7th.
I feel
you're really running with this, aren't you, Carl?
I feel you perhaps got overly specific. Also, this is in the news now. This is like the news section of the show. The news.
This is news. What are you talking about?
The news that Carl's podcasts. The actual news this week. Firstly, the Xbox 360 don't exist.
What's that?
Well, so you know the Xbox 360.
Yeah, I've heard of it.
Yeah, it never
just
existed.
Gone back in time and wiped
Never
it
existed. No, Microsoft stopped making them. they went like, probably stop now.
That seems premature.
Well, they're making another one. They're making like the Xbox
PS2's
One.
finished, so let's finish the 360 because that doesn't make any sense.
Do you remember, like, though, because the original, the transition from original Xbox to like Xbox 360 was a hard cut. Like, it was just like the day after they were like, all right, make Xbox 360s, no more Xboxes, we're fucking done with that.
I mean, maybe
that
that's
was the time that they
went
round. They went smashing everyone's Xboxes up, didn't they?
Yeah, they just
went home to home. And
it was weird.
Like, no,
it was just apparently if you read the end user license agreement, though, that it gave them that right.
You've already agreed that they'll do that. I think that maybe it makes sense. You know, if you instantly cut off your stream of production, then people aren't going to go, oh, well, I'll probably just buy this one because it's cheaper and it's still going to be supported for a bit. You just go like, all right, guess to get a new one.
See, what I find Sony's approach quite interesting, where they tend to keep their previous generation of consoles alive a long time, but enter emerging markets like Brazil. And that's a good strategy, I feel. But I can also, I can definitely understand where Microsoft are coming from, where they're just like, nah, we'll just move on. Do the next one.
Bored of the 360s, aren't we?
And particularly as with Microsoft's commitment to backwards compatibility for the 360 as well, it definitely, in my opinion, makes the Xbox One like a lot more appealing because you can go and play all those 360 games if you want. So,
yeah.
Well, it's nearly
solid decision.
Is it nearly exactly 2 years and 6 months since the Xbox One came out?
It can't be nearly exactly. That's just
it's one or the other.
Yeah. Okay. Sorry. Nearly.
It's when people describe things as very unique.
Well, there are levels of uniqueness.
Not really. That's not what the word unique means.
That's I'm quoting someone off the Skeptic's Guide to the Universe.
Yeah.
They argue about that on there.
No, there's one level of unique.
Was it the 21st of November 2013?
I don't know. I strangely not memorised the launch date of the Xbox
27th.
One. My brain is full of facts about Godzilla.
Why?
And useless stuff, cricket scores, things like that.
Is Prince in the news?
No, Prince is dead, which is sad.
Yeah,
it's weird, isn't it? I mean,
his last thing, he had to upshow royalty, didn't he?
I'm not a fan of Prince. I don't know much of his stuff, so I'm not particularly affected by his death, but I am affected just by the number of celebrity deaths this year so far. It seems like a lot.
It feels to me like there's a tipping point, right, of all the people that you like have now got old enough to die.
But they're like in their 60s. They're not old people.
No,
yeah,
Prince
was 57 and died of the flu, didn't he?
Yeah, that's a bummer.
So, to recap, David Bowie, Natalie Cole, Alan Rickman, Harper Lee, George Martin, George Kennedy, Frank Sinatra Jr., Ronnie Corbett, David Guest, Terry
Frank
Wogan,
Sinatra Jr.?
Apparently, according to this list, Terry Wogan, Paul Daniels, Howard Marks, Gary Shandling, Keith Emerson, Frank Kelly, George Gaines, Morris White, Glenn Frey, Guy Hamilton, Victoria Wood, and Prince. Admittedly, a lot of those people I don't know, I've never heard of. But it still seems like quite a lot of famous people.
Also,
and only in April. So
the former WWF wrestler Chyna died yesterday.
Yes.
Oh, did she?
Yeah, I forgot about that, yeah.
And she was only 40. She was only 46.
So, yeah, something weird going on. 2016.
Yeah,
it's the year of celebrity deaths.
Sad deaths.
The rapture just really slowly.
And starting with famous people.
It's a weird...
God only cares about the famous. That's what the rapture is.
That's how they became famous in the first place.
Yeah, people just misread the Bible.
It did feel at one point like God was attempting to form some kind of amazing band in heaven.
Yeah.
So he's just got really bored up there. He's like,
yeah.
All right. And then he's worked out some people don't fit, so he's wanting to get other people in.
Yeah.
I don't think he is, though, because I don't think he's real.
I mean, that's fair. But I mean, I was
you
also
and your logic.
I was making a facetious point, and you've really ruined that, Kev.
I stand by my comments.
Yeah. But no, the Xbox 360.
Also, that band would be terrible.
Yeah, I know. Well, it's just loads
There'd
of
be
leads.
so many egos, you know.
The problem is he's only got like lead musicians.
He needs to get exactly. He needs to get his backing section going.
Really, he's got Terry Wogan just narrating it.
Ideally, what you need is
that's background.
Next up is just a lot of session music. Well, we wouldn't hear about it, would you? You wouldn't hear about all the session musicians who are dying.
Yeah, good point. So maybe there's been even more. Maybe he's making like a battle of the band.
That would be better.
Did we talk about video games?
Nah. So I think the Xbox 360's its demise makes sense, particularly as well as they're like keeping the service infrastructure running. They're just stopping producing physical consoles.
Okay.
Which when you look at the fact they've got the backwards compatibility on the Xbox One, you kind of need to keep that service infrastructure there, really, don't you? Like, you can't just be like, no Xbox Live service for Xbox 360. Fuck them. We've only been backwards compatibility supporting their games for like a year, but fuck it.
Do we not do hellos anymore?
Well, no one really said hello, so that's why I skipped it.
What? These dickheads have asked to say hello. I haven't said hello.
Terrible people.
Tried to get listeners to say hello.
All right.
To say how better it was.
I have a bit of news this week. The PS4K, which we've talked about extensively in the past, is apparently codenamed the Neo internally at Sony, which makes sense when you look at Project Morpheus, which is involved into PSVR. So nice Matrix jokes there. The big deal that we're getting is it's going to be like a little bit better, but not a lot better than the PS4, and it's still kind of weird. So it's their idea is almost that you have two modes that games run in, where you have like the Neo version, which runs with a slightly better frame rate, but all these games still have to run on base PS4s, which in principle sounds good, right? Like, that seems like a good idea, that you're going to keep supporting the core original people with the PS4s, and if you run it on a Neo, it's going to run slightly better, perhaps a better frame rate, things like that. The Neo is rumored to have better hardware, faster memory, things like that. However, it's also just super weird. Like, as someone in the comments on TSA pointing out, like, what is in this for developers?
Apart from extra work.
Yeah.
Most likely unpaid extra work, because I doubt they're really going to sell that much better having it.
No, well,
it's not even like the PS4's doing worse than the Xbox One, so it's not like they're going to get extra people over from the Xbox One.
And it's also just got the general issue, I would say, of like, do you want to introduce like consoles that with a target architecture shifts? Because that, from a development standpoint, I expect you would agree with me, Kev, here. Like, shifting target architecture is fucking horrible. You don't want that.
Yeah.
You want to be like, that's the thing we're going for. That's what it runs on.
Talk about moving the goalposts.
Yeah, it just makes your life a lot easier when you're like, here is the thing. It runs on this thing. And we'll say, like, what about this other thing that's slightly better, but also not significantly different?
Do you reckon it was actually an intern that made this and then didn't realise that people have... It's not just like YouTube where you could just up the resolution or something.
Yeah. It's just like, weird.
People have to make it at these different resolutions now, not just press a button.
I would be impressed if interns had made the 4K PS4.
If interns are shaping long-term strategy at Sony. The other weird thing is the dev kits, reportedly, according to Digital Foundry, and the current dev kits that are out there in the wild. So this is effectively like, we've pretty much been resigned to the fact this is happening for a little while now, but given there are dev kits out there as well, etc., unless it is the most elaborate hoax in history. But there are, I feel like the dev kits that are out there do not have the ultra high definition Blu-ray drives on, apparently, which many believed was going to be one of the selling points for the new version of the PS4, was it would support the new UHD format with 4K video. Not supporting that seems strange. However, on the other hand, there would be no need for dev kits to have it in, because if you assume the fact that the games will still have to run on original PS4s, you're not going to use UHD discs to put games on. So you don't need them in the dev kits, right? Does that make sense?
Yes.
Yes? Kev?
I mean, I wasn't entirely listening, but...
Thanks, Kev.
I was waiting for the other person that does more development and stuff than me to chime in, and nothing happened.
So, I mean, Kev, does it make sense to you that like they wouldn't have the UHD drive in because that would only be for 4K movies, given that you given this thing that the games will have to run on the original PS4s, you can't put them on the new highest capacity discs, so the dev kits don't need it in, right? Like, it's just
I think the fact that because people like most PS4 owners aren't going to be the people who are getting the new special PS4. Yeah. So you're just basically asking people to have 2 discs for things, if that's the case. And I don't know. I just feel like it's probably a good thing.
Yeah, I agree.
Production cost huge as well.
Yeah, for sure. So it just feels weird. Like it. I think this has the potential to be a weird kind of fracture point for console industry. And we're going to really see which way the future pans out with Microsoft talking about similar things as well with the Xbox One. It will be interesting to see where we go.
They won't. Microsoft. They've now said they won't do anything like this. They won't do it Xbox 1.5. Before this came out, they were saying about modular Xboxes.
I'm so sure that Microsoft's strategy at the minute is they say a thing and listen to what the internet says, and then just go, "Nah, we're sorry." We didn't mean it.
We thought you'd like it, but you don't, so we're not going to do it. Sorry about that.
Well, that's what leaks is, isn't it? Usually, you leak something and see what the internet says, and then that leak wasn't genuine.
It's just the way they have pulled back from almost every decision they've made for like the last 3 years to say, "Oh shit, you didn't. Oh, okay, we're so sorry. Please buy our console. It's very expensive to produce. Please buy it." Microsoft they're in a weird situation at the minute, I feel. So it is going to be interesting to see how we go. I think the one company that definitely wouldn't go down this route is Nintendo. I can't see Nintendo ever doing this, right? Like, they've kind of done it with the new...
Nintendo just like, I don't care what you're doing. We're making this.
Like the new, because the new 3DS is kind of this, but that was also more of like a genuine... There's no backwards compatibility. You can, like, this is where new games play on this one, old games play on that one. And that made sense to me, and they just kind of kept the form factor, but they've been changing it a lot. Whereas I can't see them going down this much more small incremental route and like going, "We're going to support everything, guys. Don't worry, it's fine, it's fine." And they're like, "Nah, just you want the new Pokemon, you buy this one."
Yeah, Nintendo are just a lot more cocky about it. That's all it is. They're just like, "No, you're buying our new stuff."
Yeah.
They're like, you're buying our new stuff.
Yeah, it's like, look, we know you want Mario. We know you want Zelda. You know you want Pokemon.
I do want, though? Pokemon Go.
Yep, that's coming soon. It's going to be soon.
It's going to suck so bad.
And then I'm going to come to your house and battle you.
Yeah.
It's so bad.
But like, just
from like cool Rattatas on my street.
Yeah. But just from like outside your house, it's going to be pretty weird.
What I really like about it is that they're starting off with just the original 150, so it's like, I can actually get on board with that because I understand that universe.
Whereas I bet that's why they're doing it, isn't it? I haven't seen anything new about Pokemon Go, but I still have no faith in that doing. I have faith in it doing very well. I just don't think it's going to be very good, and people are going to be insanely disappointed.
You reckon?
I really don't think. I think Nintendo have this idea of what they're making, and the internet have this completely different idea of what they're making.
Are you familiar with Ingress, the game?
Yes.
It's kind of like that.
That's the one where people actually attack each other.
Yeah. So I think it's going to be a little bit like that, but Ingress kind of has that more meta game around it.
But have they shown off the Pokemon battling in Pokemon Go?
No, we've only seen pre-rendered.
Exactly. That weird video. Just implied there's going to be like a Charizard next to you, and that's definitely not what's happening.
And you just have to be holding your phone. You don't have to look at it or anything. The Charizard's there in the street as long as you've got your phone on you. So.
Yeah, so I just feel that it's going to be nothing like how people are assuming it's going to be. I imagine it's more going to be like a card collecting game, like than an actual film.
Yeah, probably.
I mean, that is what Pokemon is. Pokemon's basically a card collecting game, apart from you find wild cards. Yeah. But I don't think it's going to be...
I mean, that's definitely not how card collecting games work. You don't just walk down the street and be like, there are fucking cards everywhere. Why are there magic cards littering the street?
I don't think that might be the next Yu-Gi-Oh! Like, it
what
starts
has the council
off
been
and there's
doing?
Like
I mean, honestly, street cleaning.
Yeah, it's weird. What we did. So, Carl.
Oh, I'm starting, am I?
Nah, you're not.
Hello. Hi again.
Kev,
TheSixthAxis.
Tell us about one of your their games. Which ones you want to talk about?
I'll talk to you about Telepaint.
All right, you can talk about the other one later.
Yeah.
Exciting.
So, Telepaint is a premium game. It costs, I believe, I paid £2.99, so quite the premium.
I dislike that term.
Yeah?
Yeah, because that implies that these games are good.
Sick burn.
Yeah,
burns.
I'm not saying this game's not good. I'm just saying that you're saying that any game that you buy outright then is a good game. Whereas
you pay a premium though, don't you? That's more where I'm.
But that's a very legal term. You wouldn't say I'm going out and buying this. I'm paying a premium on this T-shirt.
I'm actually getting a premium T-shirt from town today. Yeah, no, I see what you're saying. Okay, so
that is how I describe everything in my life.
It's a paid app at just £2.99. Is that better? You happy with that?
I am, thank you. Yeah.
Good. It was recently on the App Store front page, which is why I know that it exists, because, who goes searching in the app stores? But it is a little puzzle game with a pixel art aesthetic and a similar soundtrack to match, very chiptune-y. And you play as the controller of these little paint cans, and they walk in time with the music. And it's up to you to make the paint cans meet the paint brushes who are waiting in the level for you. And you do that through the use of portals, obviously. And when you teleport a paint through a paint can through a portal, paint just goes everywhere in a big, glorious, colourful mess. And the paint physics are nice, and the kind of overall aesthetics works really well. The kind of more meta aesthetic of it is that is such thing as a meta aesthetic. Anyway, is that it's all kind of viewed through the lens of like a SD TV.
Oh, okay. That's
so
cool.
It's got that kind of rounded corners and like slight color offsets. And when you press play, like you get the loading screen is a little, the cards, the colorful cards that they used to use when TV was offline. I forget what they're called. They had the scary girl and the clown on them.
When TV was... sorry.
Just
when TV wasn't connected to the internet, not when they stopped.
When the channels just stopped broadcasting.
Yeah, that's like the test card.
That's what that's the word I was looking for.
Really
so cool. And there's 4 chapters, 5 chapters, sorry. And each chapter introduces a new mechanic. So the first chapter is just using the portals, getting to the paintbrush. And the second chapter introduces some other stuff. I can't remember. It was quite a long time ago that I played the second chapter. But the point is that each new chapter gives you a different... and they accumulate as well, accumulative stuff. As you'd expect from a puzzle game, the learning curve is kind of constant and upwards.
Oh, yeah.
And it works really well. The puzzles themselves can vary from like super easy to unbelievably frustrating. Like the second to last puzzle in the game took me, I'd say, like 5 days of trying it and going, no, this is too hard. This game's impossible, and throwing my phone away, and then going, okay, I'll try again.
And then buying a new phone.
Yeah, buying a new phone.
I was so enraged. I couldn't deal with this phone. I burnt it.
But then it's like sometimes you can just come back to it and go, this is the most obvious thing. I can't believe I've just spent 6 hours trying to work out how this, was supposed to go. And like, I've just done it in 3 minutes. So sometimes you just need a break from it and you come back and go, oh yeah, I see. Cause it's quite cerebral with the portals, and if like getting the order of portals right and making sure the little blocks that you can push are in the right place. And later on there's a reversal of gravity mechanic that gets introduced, so like you go past these switches and then suddenly gravity reverses and you're walking on the ceiling and stuff. But yeah, it's a really fun and beautifully executed puzzle game, and I got to the end of the final 5th chapter But it might not be as ended as you might originally think. I won't give away what happens, but let's just say what seems like it might be the end of the content isn't. So there are 20 levels. 20 levels per chapter, except weirdly, chapter 4 of 5 only has 12 levels. That's a sort of spooky. It's called Smoocher Castle because there's these little blocks that try and get close to you to kiss you, but then they get too close and squash you against the wall in a shower of paint instead, and then they get sad.
Oh man!
Oh yeah. Also, all of the things have
faces. The blocks sad.
Yeah, well, so you should utilize them to solve the puzzles, and then everyone's happy when you get to the paintbrush. Everyone does a little dance.
Excellent. That's what I like.
One of the cool things about the game is that you can fast forward in the levels. So if you've set up the path and you know that it's going to work in the right way, you can just hit fast forward and you get that classic sort of VHS sort of distortion on the screen as it's fast forwarding. But also the music speeds up and increases in frequency, so it gets all high and like you'd expect from a fast forwarding tape or something like that. And yeah, it works really nicely. It's really well polished and quite a well thought out game. A couple of the puzzles I've solved by accident and gone, nope, don't even know what I did there, but I'm glad it's over.
I kind of like that, but I also find that very frustrating in puzzle games in a way.
Yeah,
you're just like,
because I think in some cases there are multiple ways to solve it, and you're like, oh, I didn't even realize that's okay, no, so I've won. Great. So yeah, that's a bit weird, but yeah, it's cool. I really recommend it. It's given me quite a long amount of enjoyability from an app, which most mobile games you kind of expect to get bored of quite quickly, but this one has kept me hooked to try and finish it all. And I think that's one of the nice things about paid games as well, is there is an end point, and I can see that I'm reaching it, and that kind of drives me to do it more than if it was and there's more content and it's, you get DLC or whatever. This is just like a little finite package and I can see the end and I'm trying to get there. And I think sometimes that's okay.
Yeah.
But yeah, Telepaint, if you can find it on the app store of your choice.
That sounds quite cool. I'm interested.
Sounds interesting.
You've piqued my interest, Kev.
Good. It's by Acid Nerve is the studio, and it's currently on 4.5 out of 5 stars.
Wonderful. Well, I think in this case, Carl, I'm not actually double bluffing you this time. This time, I truly mean it. What was the game? Ben and Ed. That was the one. Carl, tell us about Ben and Ed.
Yeah, well, if you say it really fast, it's just bed.
Tell us about beds, Carl.
Or the initials spell Bay.
No, I refuse. That's not a word.
Ben and Ed is a 3D jump and run adventure, which takes place in an uncommon dystopian world. The player controls Ed, the zombie.
Are you just reading this from a press release?
To participate in a grotesque... I told you I definitely played this game. He is forced to participate in a grotesque game called Run Dead. He will beat all obstacles the evil showmaster confronts him with. I feel like
we're just being tricked.
His best friend, Ben. Right, yeah. So, I've been doing a Let's Play series on this, and it's I don't really do platformers because they just stress me out so much. But this, I saw a little clip on it, and it looked really fun. And I've been getting comments saying, "Carl, you should play more happy games because you're going to kill yourself." So I decided to look for something happier, which was a game about a zombie trying to get his human best friend back from an evil man that's kidnapped him. Clearly happier. But yeah, it's a lot of platforming. It's a lot of it's almost puzzly in the way that it platforms, but it is so fun. It's so fun to rage at. And, it's a cool way of, rather than just your normal platformer where, I don't know, you run along as Mario and then he gets hit by a Goomba or something and loses, or you're Sonic and you lose your coins or whatever. You're a zombie. So these are all, literally, it's a TV show called Run Dead, which is why I keep getting confused with the name when recording it. Because Run Dead.
So are these both games that are presented as TV stuff? Your game and Kev's game?
Yes. Yeah.
Oh.
Yeah. So the TV show is called Run Dead, it's in some crazy world. This kid, I guess, is homeless or some shit. It starts off with a sob story at the start, which I was like, yeah, see, such a fun game.
I really like how you're paying deep attention to this game?
Me?
Yeah, we just starts a React TV show or some shit. I don't know.
No, I did pay attention. It starts off and there's a kid like on his own, and he's like in a scrapyard or something, and he's just like walking along on his own. I guess he's homeless. It doesn't say, and then he meets the first zombie, which becomes his friend somehow. Though I feel from all the pictures they showed, I feel he's not actually his friend. But I feel that may be something that pops up at the end of the game when you finally get Ben back. Yeah. It looked like he was just teasing him. No, the zombie's Ed.
Oh, okay.
The zombie's Ed, because he's dead.
Dead Ed. I get it.
Yeah.
All right.
And Ben is the one that the evil Hans Showmaster is basically using to lure Ed through all these obstacle courses that are spinning blades, lasers, grinding things, endless pits. At one point, I had to fight a giant robot that shot lasers out of his eyes that was covered in spinning blades, and if you fell off, you fell into acid that had sharks in it.
Obviously.
Yeah, I was kind of confused about the sharks that were somehow genetically modified to survive acid. But, I mean, yeah, if the acid doesn't kill you, then you got sharks. But, as I said, the cool thing, you're a zombie, so your limbs get cut off and you can continue on. So you'll just be like crawling along the ground, or you can take your head off yourself and throw it to targets or find hidden areas. So there's a lot of using your decapitation or your losing your limbs as a advantage, or also a major disadvantage. You could need the speed to get somewhere, and then your left leg gets cut off, and then you can still go, but eventually you'll find out you can't actually make that last jump, even though you thought you could, and then you have to start the whole checkpoint again. And it gives you points as well on when you get to each checkpoint. It gives you a point on if you've made it as a full body, or whether you've like lost a limb or something. So it's that's a cool way to give the points as well. But yeah, it's really fun. And so it's so fun. It's got a lot of nice humor in it. It's a really, really strange world that it's set in. It feels a bit Oddworld-esque at times.
Okay, that's cool.
Like because it has a lot of like promotional stuff on the walls, and it kind of feels a lot like the like posters and stuff in Oddworld. Because there's a company that seems to be, I don't know, I guess a big sponsor of this show called it's Candy, but the company's called Candy, but they seem to do everything. So it's kind of like it kind of has this Victorian dystopian vibe. So it's got like whale blubber and stuff in it, but it's like candy sausages, candy beer. And then I feel like the zombies are known about, and this isn't the first one, and actually candy food is made out of zombies. But I don't know.
Maybe that's why I think it's that seems quite likely.
Yeah, because everything seems really weird, and I think maybe that's why I feel that it's like Oddworld. Because obviously, Have
you just considered that you're really weird?
No, you're weird. What are you talking about?
I mean, I am weird.
Liberate your best friend, Ben. He really needs your help. Lose your limbs, but that is okay. You're a zombie. Survive deadly traps. You're dead anyway.
I still feel like you're just reading a press
Defeat
release.
monstrous machines. Fuck.
Are you?
Yeah,
it's just like the description on the Steam store.
No, this is their website. benanded.com.
I guess that's like slightly better.
Well, everything else I was saying wasn't. Now, otherwise, that's a really long page they've got.
I mean, yeah, that would
not
be
really
a weird
well
website.
written.
That's a weirdly phrased website.
Yeah.
Particularly given, like, I ask you questions. So there's just bits of the website where it responds to questions that no one's asked.
Maybe I just scrolled down to the Q&A.
Yeah. Okay.
Chicken, and chicken.
Why are you? Did you have a stroke? Why are you just?
No, that's the last line on their website. But for some reason, there is a lot of chickens I don't quite understand. And also, whenever you run into a chicken, they just explode into guts. Like, I don't mean like they explode everywhere. It's just you run into them, and it's just like a stomach laying on the ground.
I mean, that is what happens with actual chickens. To be fair, like Kev, that's your experience with chickens, right? They just explode.
Yes. Yeah, my dad owns chickens.
They just
every time you hit them, it's just a stomach left on the ground and blood splatter.
Pretty much. That's why we eat them.
So I've just had a look at the Ben and Ed Steam Greenlight trailer, and it occurred to me that there are at least 2 subliminal frames in the trailer,
really?
Which is weird. Yeah, I just like, wait, what was that? And I've just slowed down the YouTube video to the point with one of them, and it's just like some terrifying face, and it just says "Bye Ben and Ed, bye Ben and Ed, bye Ben and Ed" a lot of times.
That's great.
Yeah.
Unfortunately, subliminal advertising doesn't work, but I just think that's good. That matches the world that it's in as well. I like this game. It's brilliant. It's really exciting to play. As I say, I've got stressed out a bunch of times because I'm not that amazing at platformers, and I don't play platformers as well. But this has really like hooked me in a lot of ways, and I love the way they use like the fact that you're a zombie. Every time you restart a level as well, it doesn't just like mysteriously go back in time or something. Each time it reassembles your zombie body. So like you'll stand there and then the limbs, your torso will be there and then the limbs will come in from the side and they attach them back onto the body again, and then you start off the bit again. And it's really, really good. And then at the end of each level, there's Ben there in his cage and you just can't get to him in time before he goes back underground. You can't get to him.
This game sounds super weird.
Googling Ben and Ed, the majority of the results are just like Ben and Ed ending ? And just like people saying, "Does this actually finish?" And like all of the YouTubes are just like Ben and Ed ending, the end of the game, Ben and Ed. Which seems like a weird focus on the end.
I think there's something big that happens at the end when they finally reunite. So a lot of people are hyped up about that. I haven't got to the end yet, but I believe I know what happens, but I don't want to look any further into it.
Just in case.
Yeah.
Just in case it tricks you.
Well, no, because I don't want it confirmed, because I would like it to be a surprise, but I'm pretty sure I know what the surprise is now. I probably would have come up with it at some point on my own. I'd kind of thought about it. Yeah. As I said, they might not quite be friends.
Yeah. All right. I am now going to talk about Train Valley, which I think I've talked about before, but I've been playing the new German Trains DLC for it. So Train Valley, if I didn't talk about it before, if you haven't heard me talk about it before...
Is it a TV show?
No. So it's the game. That's just a game.
You break tradition.
Sorry. It's a combination of a puzzle game and a transport sim. You're given a bunch of stations. You have to connect them with train lines. You have like points and stuff on the train lines. Each of the stations has colours, and you got to get the trains from like one station to another. But you're given a new train to deploy every so often. And if all the stations have trains still to deploy, then it'll just like deploy one of the trains from the stations, which might fuck you over. It's rather irritating. It's really good. I really like it a lot because I like puzzle games and I like transport sims, so this is kind of perfect. And it does get quite tough at times, particularly with some of the level layouts, because there are things like so laying track costs money, but so does demolishing things in your way, and sometimes you have to have to demolish things to get the track where you want it to go, and so you're kind of judging what the best path is based on where the track is, kind of like where the track needs to go, how you can demolish the least things. But then, if I go like around that thing to demolish, it actually costs me more to go around it than it would be just to go through it. So that's quite interesting. The kind of the basic concepts are like get train from point A to point B, and don't make your trains crash, and don't run out of money because you can go bankrupt, which I do a lot. If you are playing the German Trains DLC, however, which is one of those DLCs that you can only get to if you've beaten the original game, so you need to have played through it, got to the last last set of levels, which is Japan in the main game, and then you get Germany. Germany is very, very hard and also kind of evil, because what they do is it's got this kind of traditional puzzle 3-star system. Like, here's 3 extra objectives. Achieve the objectives, you get the in this it's like stamps, but yeah, you get them. But But what's evil in this?
Of course it is, because driving trains isn't geeky, or like not even geeky, like dorky enough that stamp collecting has to be added to it.
No, you get like a stamp in a book, like a rubber stamp.
I see.
You know what I mean?
Not a postage stamp.
No, not a postage stamp. Okay. Although they do
like
look
an
like
old passport.
To be fair, okay, so you basically have a book. That's the level select is a book, and the book is kind of full of stamps, and then they get stamped over with a rubber stamp. Do you see what I mean?
Right.
Like if
I do see what you mean.
Like a normal postal stamp, basically. What is evil in the German Trains DLC is some of the bonus objectives.
The Nazis.
No, some of the bonus objectives are stuff like, hey, crash 7 trains and still beat the level.
What?
So it's kind of gives you objectives that are completely counter to how you've been taught to play the game up until then. Which is genius, and really, I like it because it's super subversive, but it's fucking evil as well. So it's things like that, or deliver trains to the wrong station X many times. So you kind of have to unlearn the game to play this DLC. But I really like that because it's a really neat idea. Like, conceptually, that's a really smart idea.
Yeah, it just gives it a freshness that people might be like, oh, yeah, I kind of played this game, so I might not get the DLC. It's like, well, you haven't played it this way.
Yeah. There's also just mean stuff in this. So each of the countries you go through, you kind of start early in their development and you end late in their development. So interestingly, in Germany, you play in the early 20th century, say 1905 to 1915 kind of era, maybe? Maybe 1920, kind of what I'm hinting at here. So you get bombed.
High voice you got going on.
You get bombed during this, which isn't in the normal game at all. A little biplane flies over, and occasionally just bombs your rail network. Which is great. It's a really nice twist, and it's a mechanic that's brand new for this DLC. And it was really unexpected the first time it happened to me. And so far, it's only in one of the levels, and it took me a long time to beat that level. The second level, that was the second level. I'm on the third level of this DLC now. The third level has your tracks, but they're overlaying like a bigger set of train tracks. So I kind of suspect like a big train is going to come through and destroy all my little trains, which would be deeply disappointing. But yeah, so that's quite interesting. But like I said, I think the thing I really like is, as you were saying, Kev, like putting giving you a new way to play the game, like by giving you those objectives that are completely different to objectives you've played before. It's just a really interesting way of dealing with it, and it makes it super hard. But I think because the DLC is after the main game content, like it feels like it should be hard, because the last level of Japan probably took me 30 or 40 tries to beat it, and a try is maybe like 10 minutes, so it took me a long time to get through it. But I really enjoy this game. It's the concept of well, it's kind of like Train Yard was an iOS sort of thing, where you were drawing lines, but because this looks like it's kind of a cartoony setting, but still looks like a real rail network, that's kind of cool. And yeah, it just feels good. It's a tiny bit buggy in certain, if you try and lay like super long tracks in one go, it kind of bugs out a little bit, but I don't know if that's a bug or because I'm using the touchpad on my Mac and I'm just like swiping in the wrong way instead of letting go, and just all of it goes away. So instead I've just got into like, okay, I'm just going to lay smaller sections of track at once. That's much easier. But it's kind of the opposite of Mini Metro, where Mini Metro is kind of super abstracted and it's just icons, and this is fully realized trains that are era appropriate for the period of time you're playing through, which is quite interesting. The only thing that's a little bit weird is there's a calendar in the top that shows you how far through you are, but like a month maybe takes a minute or two, I guess, to play out. Maybe a minute, or maybe 30 seconds even. But it goes like January, February, March through the years you're playing, but your train, according to the calendar, takes like 4 months to arrive sometimes, which is a bit weird. So that's
a really bad train service.
Yeah, it's not great. So that's the only thing I find is slightly odd, just in the presentational aspect. But beyond that, I do enjoy this game. It's really fun to play, and the German DLC is good and provides a nice twist on the mechanics, which I wasn't expecting. I was just like, oh, cool, more levels, awesome. But this actually is a nice twist. There should be a review on the TheSixthAxis soon. I've been playing for a little while, but I've been busy writing up stuff from Res prior to this. So yeah, but I like this game. I really like the DLC a lot. Kev, what's your other game? I've forgotten already.
So the other game I've been playing, and I don't have to talk about this for very long, but it's called Chivalry: Medieval Warfare.
All right, that's definitely a game.
It's a Steam game. It's a Steam game. Yeah. All right. And it was recently on a humble sale, humble staff pick bundle for $1.
It's not exactly new, but it's
it's been around for. Well, it started off as a source mod, and now it's the game's in Unreal, I think. But yeah, so it's the game, as Carl said, it's been around for a while, so you may already know. But the game is a predominantly first-person sword, not shooter. First-person swords and spears and bow and arrows and shields. It's medieval warfare.
Yeah, that's a better way to put it, I think.
That's first-person
kind of like that new game that's coming out by Ubisoft.
What game's that then?
It was at E3 last year. It's the Knights, Samurai, and Viking game. Bollocks, what is that called?
So anyway,
I'm talking
I've been playing it at work on our lunch breaks. We managed to get a team of 6 people to do LAN parties at lunch on Chivalry, and so mostly we've just been doing the free-for-all deathmatch mode where everyone can kill everyone. And it's actually weirdly complicated to play in that when it's left click to swipe your sword and right click to block, either parry or block with a shield. But you have to time your blocks and aim at the person's weapon as they're swinging it in order to parry them successfully. And so the system itself is deliberately complicated, and so it's quite a skilled game. And unfortunately, I don't really have the skill to play it. I quite frequently come near the bottom of the table.
Having fun.
So the kind of the technique is to try and parry and then instantly follow up with attack of your own. But you can do feints where you start to attack and then then cancel the attack before you swing it. Or you can if you press Alt while you're clicking, then you can swing in the opposite direction and stuff. So it's like a technical sword play game. And it kind of gets pretty chaotic when it's all free-for-all, all fighting, especially because we've been using the map The Dining Hall, which is basically a room. And when you've got 6 people in there, then it's just chaos. It's absolute chaos. But yeah, there's a whole bunch of different game modes and customization that I don't really understand because there's loads of weapons that I haven't unlocked, but it doesn't give you any indicator about how to unlock them. I think looking at the achievements list, I possibly just have to use one weapon type a lot, and then I just unlock more of that weapon type. But yeah, it's not completely clear. The other thing is at work, our Macs really aren't geared towards playing games, and so I've had to put all of the graphics settings to the absolute lowest, which is a shame because actually seeing videos of it in high quality actually looks quite good, but mine really doesn't. It probably looks much like the original source mod version back in the day. So yeah, it was like I say, it was $1 on the Humble Bundle recently. So that's what its appeal was. I think it's like 19 quid on Steam now, which probably isn't necessarily worth getting for that price. But if it does ever go on sale again, and you have friends on Steam that play silly games, then it's just such a good party game because there's a lot of decapitations and dismemberments and it's all very silly, but there's like a lot of vocals in it, and this is quite a comedy tutorial. It's getting you set up for the game, and like just really hammy, overly theatrical voice actors, but like in a completely self-aware way. It's quite charming in its humor, and it's it feels like actually they've got a whole bunch of friends to just record vocal lines at various levels of quality, because some of them sound like they were recorded in a bathroom and some of them don't. but yeah, there's like taunts and battle cries and all sorts, and you can like there's like a quick list of various responses and stuff, so they can go like, "Oh, sorry," and stuff when you're just moving around. So it's quite quite a fun game. So yeah, if it's ever on another bundle or sale,
that game I was talking about is called For Honor. That's the Ubisoft game. It's knights versus samurai versus Viking.
I didn't know if is a speech thing, like a family thing. I wasn't sure.
I am going to murder your wedding. Has your wedding already happened?
No.
Yes, it has. No, it hasn't. Wait, whose wedding was the other day then?
I don't know.
Oh no, that was Thingy's, wasn't it?
What?
Yeah. I'm gonna make
that was
red wedding.
rapid.
Yeah,
like I don't know whose wedding.
It was Dav's wedding. Dav's wedding.
That was in January.
It's only April.
That's still several months.
What was that? It's still several months. Sound like you're on BBC.
I am.
Aren't we all?
That's the next stage of the podcast.
Question time.
Indie Marathon would like to know what are your favourite Xbox 360 games / memories. So I actually wrote about this for TSA. I don't know when the post is going up, but I wrote a little bit that's going like a bigger post, assuming Tef wasn't like, this is fucking terrible. But one of my main memories is like the 360 was kind of the first console that was mine, like that I bought, and it was probably like a year after release, and it was secondhand, but I still like it was the first one I bought for me. That was still quite a new console. Like the only console I'd bought before that was like a GameCube I bought off someone for £20. So like this was mine, and that was kind of a big deal for me, I think, at the time. Also, and then this was you, Carl. It was the console that made me fall in love with Halo, because you bought me a copy of Halo 3 for Christmas, I believe, one year. I'm pretty sure when you were working at like Game Station, and you were like, I have this staff discount. I
probably just took it.
Yeah, that seems likely. You did do a lot of that when you worked at Game
Fuck
Station.
buying him a game. Just take one.
Yeah,
I'll probably buy it.
But it's so that was kind of it was the console that got me to fall in love with Halo, which is probably now my favorite game series. I love Sonic, and there are individual Sonic games, but as a series, like people know modern Sonic, but Halo has not really had like bad ones. Even Halo Wars is not great, but it's interesting still. They tried to do something interesting.
No, it has had one bad one.
Which one?
Spartan Ops. No, not Spartan Ops, sorry. The twin stick shooter.
That was Spartan Ops, wasn't it?
No, Spartan Ops is the Halo 4 mode, isn't it?
Oh yeah, no, Spartan Assault. That's it.
That's
yeah, I guess that was.
Though I don't know. It may be for a twin stick shooter. It might be good. I don't play twin stick shooters, so.
Yeah, I haven't actually tried that one, but I don't know if I want to count that because that was like a weird offshooty type thing. But yeah, like okay, but all the main Halo games are still like they're still really good, enjoyable games.
Yeah.
I haven't played Halo 5, so I haven't got an Xbox One, but you've played it, Carl. I assume you like it.
I think it's excellent. I think the multiplayer is. I never had a problem with 4, though a lot of people said it was like a bit Call of Duty-ized. But I've had the same comments about 5, but I feel 5 got the kind of like old multiplayer style gameplay into the like modern shooter perfect this time. They went back a bit to match like how the old ones were while still keeping it new and relevant, and it feels like perfectly like you're playing a new version of Halo 1, 2 or 3. I think it's very good, and the storyline, I haven't completed it, but the storyline is very, very good from what I have played so far.
What are your memories of the 360, Carl?
I have brilliant memories, a lot of really, really good memories of the 360. A lot of good, actually, yeah, most of my memories of the 360 are from Halo 2 and 3, even though Halo 2 wasn't a 360 game. That was the game that got me into Halo while on the 360, so I didn't have the original Xbox. But yeah, I've had very, very good memories of the 360. I mean, I was working in the game shop as well for a lot of the time that it was out, so I had a lot of experience of different games on there. And yeah, just every moment of it I really enjoyed.
Actually, I will tell you what, one of my enduring memories of the 360 is on, I believe it was Christmas morning, and I was horribly hungover, and I was sleeping in your bedroom, and you were playing Call of Duty on like a massive TV, like right next to my head, and I woke up and looked at the TV, like looking at a first-person shooter hungover from a weird angle, and it nearly made me throw up.
Which Call of Duty was that?
I don't know, but it must have been.
It might have been. It would have been either 3 or 4.
Yeah, Modern Warfare, Modern Warfare, I guess. But yeah,
I didn't really play many of the newer ones.
Yeah, it did definitely.
3, I have some really good memories of playing Call of Duty 3 drunk. Because those matches went on for hours. They weren't like the short things they are now. They were like more like Battlefield. And I remember being in there, and most of the rest of the people playing had dropped out, and I was the last one in there, so I was top of the team. And I was a medic, and I was running around bringing people back to life while drunk, just shouting, "I am your god!" and then resurrecting these people.
You're a weird guy, Carl.
Good memories.
You're a weird guy.
Good memories.
I assume you have no memories of the 360, Kev.
I have some memories of the 360. I've never owned a 360, which is, of course, why Kris has said that. But all of my memories with the 360, or pretty much all of them, come from playing games with my good friend Adam, who is a 360 owner, and
who is a 360.
He is an Xbox 360. So things like playing Left 4 Dead all the way through, which was really, really great. Was that 360 or was that original Xbox? Can't remember.
360.
It was 360. Yeah. Dead Rising, although that's only one player, like we had a good life or level type go playing Dead Rising together. Gears 1 and 2 were both great cooperative experiences. So yeah, I've got a lot of love for that style of gaming where you're cooperating against AI or like the game. I don't think there's enough of that these days.
All right. I guess there's a thing we need to do then.
Boo!
So Kev.
Yeah.
Why are you a traitor?
So I've decided to make this my final podcast with the Oscar Mike Media podcast after much deliberation.
Even called that anymore?
Well, it's always called that in my mind.
You're the one who lobbied for the change.
Yeah, I know, but I'm a forgetful guy. And also, I'm looking at very old podcasts and things, and so yeah, I'm gonna say my fond farewells. I've had an amazing time doing it, and I've really enjoyed it. I was just looking back on the site, and it was 5 years ago, the 24th of September 2011. When I first made my appearance, and you know we've gone through a lot together, the four of us, and then the three of us, and then the two of us, and I just feel like maybe the time's right for me to kind of move on for the podcast and make it the one of us instead. So yeah, you know, I've had a great time with y'all, and I really appreciate all the listeners, regulars and newbies alike, for kind of keeping it worth doing.
I feel like out of all like the whole many few times that I've been on, this is probably like the second time we've actually been on a podcast together as well.
Yeah, that's true. We've been ships passing in the night. Is that what that metaphor means? I don't really know.
Yeah. I guess so. It does now.
We just redefine metaphors. That's what we do.
Just hit my mic stand there. Sorry.
So, in light of Kev's decision, what will be happening is the podcast will be taking a short hiatus for a few weeks. Unfortunately, while I retreat to a monastery to just rediscover what podcasting means, find myself. So what we might be doing...
if you do find yourself, you could like do a podcast with yourself.
Oh, that'd be really handy.
But like with the two of you, rather than just like what I've just implied is essentially what I've forced you to do anyway, which is doing a podcast by yourself. That's not... I'll stop talking.
It's just going to be just shouting into the void. So what we're taking a few weeks off. We're going to be reevaluating what we're doing, maybe taking the podcast in different directions. So if you like the podcast in its current state, tell us. If you're like, you should do this thing, also tell us. If you're like, fuck you, I don't listen to this podcast. I don't know how you're like. How are you hearing
do you
this?
know to give this feedback?
Yeah,
but,
why? Yeah. But you can tweet us like TSA Podcast. Just tweet us. We'll be looking at other stuff.
Like Chris Clark used to give us a lot of questions. It weren't really even questions; they're just statements, and you never listened back to them anyway. So,
it's weird. But yeah, I'll be we might be piloting a few different ideas, that kind of thing. We're just gonna be trying some different things, maybe.
Nerdface Podcast.
Don't listen to Nerdface Podcast.
Shameless. Absolutely shameless.
I was going to say the reason.
Hiatus.
So that was to be
same
fair,
reasons.
To be fair,
for people who are fans of podcasts on hiatuses, hiati.
I was tweeted.
I
was tweeted by the Optomaton.
Yes, you said it wrong. Yes, he can fuck himself.
How do you say it?
Automaton.
Automaton.
I've only guessed that having heard you just say it incorrectly, I have no idea what word you're saying.
Nerdface is better than TSA, and he's written like a heart thing. But
it's pretty rude.
What I would say is the Nerdface podcast. When did the Nerdface podcast last release? Because I believe it was in January.
Yes, I believe it was
recently, like Dav's wedding.
Yeah, very recently. Yeah. That's why it hasn't updated. Carl just thinks like 3 months ago. That was pretty good.
I only judge time in podcasts.
Yeah. It's where you're just thrown off. So no, but seriously, we'll be taking a hiatus probably for a few weeks to maybe a month. Just while I talk to some people, get people's opinions. I've already been talking to people today. I've got your opinion, Kev. Which is to
screw you guys. I'm going home.
No, you give me an opinion. Which is basically like you should do quiz.
Sucks.
I like your opinion was like you should do quizzes, and I was like, okay, cheers, Kev.
I do miss the quizzes,
but the community is at the heart of what we want to do, and I think that involving the community more is probably a good thing. So yeah, getting the listeners more involved, I think would be good. And I'm happy to come on as the occasional guest if you'll have me still. Depending on how
my blind hatred of you now.
Those bridges are
blood enemies.
Well and truly on fire. Fine, okay, understood.
The TheSixthAxis.
That's also not happening. But we will be back. This is not the death of the podcast. It is just the death of Kev. Obviously, now I'm forced to kill him.
Wow. Well, it's been...
that was the contract you made, the blood contract, when everyone joins the podcast.
To be fair, when I did join the podcast, I was pretty drunk on that first episode, so it's quite possible I signed something and don't remember.
The deal is, whoever's last to leave, they die. So, anyway, it's been a blast, Kev.
Thanks for having me. Bye.
I don't really know what to say beyond that. If you want to get in touch with the podcast, you want to give us feedback, then just
go.
Do
we have another question?
No.
I mean, it seems like
there wasn't.
Sort of the wrong order to do things. Okay.
Why?
Because I thought you said we had a couple of questions, but maybe the Xbox one was the second one.
No, it was just one question. I think I said.
Okay.
Oh, it's because I saw the thing from the Nerdface thing and thought it was a question, but it wasn't.
I see.
It was just an insult, I guess.
Just sort of mean.
Yeah, weird. You're just arranging. You're arranging your listeners against us, Carl.
No, he's a member of Nerdface.
So you're basically rallying your troops against us.
Yeah, he didn't want to post it for ages, and I kept pushing him to do it.
I invite you on this podcast because I was going to be like, oh, Carl's changed his name. He's not Carl's Awesome. He's Carl Alt Delete now. Like, give you like a bit of promotion for your new direction and stuff. And you're like, nah, fuck you, Chris.
Talk about biting the hand that feeds you, mouth.
You don't feed me.
I like that you took that one step further, made that perfect.
Yeah.
No, not just anywhere else in your body.
Right, so
you've made me eat left-handed.
Look, before we get to Carl, anyway, if you want to get other previous episodes of the podcast, you go to TheSixthAxis.com. I'm writing a lot at the TheSixthAxis at the minute. I think Tef's tricked me or something. He's just like, well, if there was content tomorrow, and I'm like, here's like 1,000 words I wrote here, just have them. Now leave me alone. It's basically it's just a way to get Tef to leave me alone. It's like, oh god,
just do what he says and content, he'll go away.
Just go away.
Is it like the thing that Homer writes about, like Flanders, just Flanders over and over again?
No, it's actual useful words. Anyway, yeah, you can go there if you want to get previous episode of the podcast. They're on the TheSixthAxis, they're on Stitch, they're on YouTube. You can tweet us at TSA Podcast. We would really seriously like to hear what ideas you have, if there's anything you would like or anything you particularly don't want.
The sick face.
No. That's like, if you don't want, please just tweet us that you don't want that. If you want to get in touch personally, you can get me on Twitter as HalPro. It's HALB Pro. You can get Kev, Kevin John 400. You can get Carl.
Obviously, that is until I'm murdered, which is quite soon.
I would also like to announce my leaving of the podcast.
Okay.
It's been a wild ride this last 2 hours.
Not even that. Like an hour.
No.
Hour and a bit.
Well, hour and a bit. These last hour and bits. You can catch me at C.Alt.Del.
On the Twitter? What about other places?
Twitter, yes.
What about other places? What are you doing?
You can also...
Because you've rebranded yourself. Talk about your rebranding. Talk about everything.
So,
you like YouTube. I do videos.
I'll quickly mention it all. Basically, I do Let's Plays, the occasional vlog. As we've mentioned many few times in the last 10 to 20 minutes, that I do a podcast, though it's on hiatus. Hopefully it will be back soon. I currently have a Facebook message saying, when are we getting back to ours? Talking about our podcast. Hopefully it will be soon. I'll have to do it before this one comes back. But yes, apart from that, I do Let's Plays mainly.
That would be depressing, right? If we go on hiatus, come back, and you still haven't done the podcast. That would be... that's why that would be a damning indictment.
I have to do it now. But yeah, ours went down for the same reason. We actually had a guy and a girl were two of the members, and then they decided to hook up, and they left the podcast basically to spend more time with each other. And then I didn't have anyone else.
I mean, to be fair, that's not why this is ending.
No, but it's got the members left.
Kev, what?
Well, that went well. Don't know what just happened there.
Kev just broke down.
My circuitry is malfunctioning. I'm not sure what that was. That was weird because I heard that as well. I heard my own voice just start flipping out. What I was saying is the real reason is because Chris and I want to spend more time romantically. That's why we're...
Lewis and you, wouldn't it be?
I guess so, yeah.
You and Lewis are hooking up.
Yeah. But yes, so hopefully that will be back soon. But yeah, I do Let's Plays out 4 times a week. If you enjoy watching any types of things like that, obviously I've got a Ben and Ed series. So if you enjoyed my ramblings about what that game was earlier, you can follow my Ben and Ed. By the time this podcast is out, it should be on its 5th episode, I think. Also doing a blind Let's Play of Dark Souls. I've never played Dark Souls games before. That's a current series as well, and it's proving a bit hard, but really, really fun. But
he's got he wears a weird T-shirt that looks like he works in a hospital.
That in one video, though it was my video where I announced that I was changing my name.
And you, after I told you, you were like, "Yeah, that does look like hospital scrubs."
No, I noticed it when I was editing it, and I was like, I can't be bothered to re-record this. Hopefully, no one notices I look like I'm in hospital scrubs. The one person to comment on it, my brother. Well, not the one person to comment. I mean, the one person to say about that. My brother. Putting me down as he always does.
Yeah. Also, can you make your vlogs just less sad?
Yes, yeah. They're mostly been channel updates, and they're occasionally a bit sad because most of the channel updates in the last few months have been about bad stuff happening in my life. But there's plenty of good stuff happening, and that's what's happening at the moment. I'm really enjoying myself. I really like my Let's Playing and really pushing it. I changed the name for a multitude of reasons. As we said at the start, it was Carl is Awesome. It is now Carl Alt Delete. You can search both those names on YouTube, and they should both come up with the same channel still. But yes, it was.
All right, wrap it up
to a vote, and loads of people like my new name, so that's a new name. I was wrapping it up. Jesus. Boy.
All right.
Follow me on YouTube.
That's going to do it for this week's podcast and for the podcast for a little while. Seriously, we will be back. But for now, goodbye, I guess.
Bye.
Bye, everybody.
Goodbye.
Bye, Kevin.
Let's sad way to go out. Is he still here?
I'm here.
Right. Bye.
See ya.
The Sixth Axis podcast.